I'm doing a chatty get ready with me. And I thought I would take some questions from you guys. I took them from Instagram and from my YouTube community tab. You guys asked some pretty good questions. So I am just going to make my way through a face full of gorgeous spring makeup that I'm very excited to take you through because I'm actually pulling out some products that I haven't revisited in a while. So we've got a combination of new and old here, and we're just going for like the springiest of the spring vibes today. So let's just delve on in. I am using my Beauty Pie All-in-Wonder Illuminating Primer. This, I have to tell you, I wore on a day when I didn't want to wear makeup, but I wanted to feel put together. I actually was lucky enough to be invited to a Milk Makeup casting call, a modeling call. So I went to that last week, which was super quick and easy. It was such a delight. Everyone was so nice. And you know, you go to something like that and you don't really want to be wearing makeup because you want to look like the freshest version of yourself. So this is all I wore as a base. And it really does give me just the most beautiful sort of blurred, dewy effect. Yeah. Okay. So this is actually the perfect time to answer this question from P. Jamie Sullivan. What are your favorite Beauty Pie skincare products? And thanks for the discount code. I have so many favorite Beauty Pie products, and I just want to add that I always have dedicated Beauty Pie videos that you guys can check out. I think I've put a playlist together of those. So definitely peruse that if you are a Beauty Pie member. But just like off the cuff to tell you some of my favorites, Obvi, what I just used. I mean, their skincare is like off the hook, and I'm not even gonna get into that because like I said, I have other videos about that and I could go on for days about that. But favorite makeup, I love their cream blushes. They have some of the best cream blushes, point blank. And one of my top two mascaras, this is the Uber Volume Boost Velvet Mascara. This is an instant repurchase for me. I think this is my second or third tube of this, and I need to reorder it. So now I'm going to take one of my favorite foundations. This is the Chantecaille Future Skin. And I just want to point out that there actually is a sale going on at Skin Store right now, which is pretty insane. They have pretty amazing sales from time to time. But there is kind of a secret code. I feel like it's secret because no one else has posted about it. And I feel like maybe they just forgot to, I don't know, get rid of this code. But if you use the code LATE25 at Skin Store, you're going to get 25% off of site-wide, just any product. And Rakuten is running like a 15% cashback deal. So it's pretty amazing. Check that out. If you do check it out, I cannot recommend this foundation enough. It is like top 3 foundations for me. I have so many incredible foundations, but if I'm splitting hairs, I will tell you that I think this one actually feels the most like a combination of skincare and makeup to me. It feels very, very hydrating, very lotiony, and it really does look like my skin, like a polished version of my skin. Does that not just look like I blended my skin into my skin? I don't even understand what wizardry is in this jar. It's filling me with rage. Okay, Jennifer at home asks, favorite book, either fiction or nonfiction. This is going to be a really, really quick and easy answer for me. I don't read. I think I'm going to read. I think it sounds like a good idea. It is a good idea. We all agree that it's a good idea, but I am just not a reader. I don't know what to tell you. Books I want to read. How about that? Books I have that I intend to read someday are basically horror novels. So I have Rosemary's Baby sitting up there on the shelf. I have The Stepford Wives. I got a vintage copy of that because that's one of my favorite movies of all time. Those two books are by the same author, Ira Levin. And I also want to read The Shining, of course, by Stephen King. I read articles. I read news articles. Does that count? This person's handle is no one, and love your work. Love that handle. What do you think the weirdest musical ever is? I mean, it's probably Cats, but I don't know. You know more about musical theater than I do. Also, points to anyone who conveys tone through written word as well as this person does. Love that. I mean, I'm not grading your comments, but if I were grading your comments, this person would get an A+. Musicals are weird, right? Like, it's a weird concept. You're so passionate about what you have to say that you have to sing it. That's a lot of commitment. I have to go with the most obvious choice right now because we literally just watched this the other night in its entirety. I've seen it twice now. Diana the musical, have you seen it? You guys, it's so bad, it's good. Like, it's on Netflix, so it's there for all to see. And what I do want to say about this musical is that the people in it are incredibly talented. So I do not want to disparage the cast, specifically the leads. I think they are phenomenal. I mean, it really is so bad. It's hilarious at times. So there's this scene where Diana and James Hewitt, who's like the stable dude who she like had an affair with, I don't know, anyway, the redheaded dude. So her and James Hewitt are like having some intimate times on one side of the stage, and then a bed rolls on stage and it's Camilla and Charles on the other side of the stage. And then there's this woman who comes out who also, it's Judy Kay. She's phenomenal. I love Judy Kay. She plays the queen in the show, but she also plays this really, really random role. It makes zero sense. I'm not even going to explain it to you because it's not even worthwhile. It's just some random novelist that Diana loves, and so they use her as like a narrator. Just don't ask questions. Unexplained old woman narrator comes on the stage and she's like, now there's him and her and him and her. Yes, sir, it's a blur of him and her. Then there's him and her and him and her. Yes, sir, it's a blur of him and her. I can't. Guys, I love musical theater. My life's profession has mostly been musical theater, but I just have to say that sometimes I low-key hate musical theater. Teresa asks, what's the best concert you've ever been to? That's a really good question, and I'd have to say Chris Stapleton. Before I go on about that, I'm going in with a concealer that I completely forgot about that I love. This is the Fenty Bright Fix in the shade Rose Quartz. So yeah, Chris Stapleton I have seen twice in concert. Once I saw him at Forest Hill Stadium, which if you ever have a chance to go to Forest Hill Stadium to see a concert when you're in New York City, you best run, do not walk. It is literally the best concert venue I have ever been to. It's just very civilized. They have their whole food truck situation figured out. Everything is just laid out so well, and it's just very comfortable. So I saw him the first time with my friend Victoria at Forest Hills. We showed up early and we basically got like third row center tickets. It was wild. Sitting there, having drinks, eating delicious risotto balls, and watching Chris Stapleton at Forest Hill Stadium. Sign me up, please. And then Randy and I went a couple years later and saw him at Jones Beach Theater, which he's just phenomenal. That man cannot sing a wrong note. He's incredible. I've never heard him sound off. Next, I'm going to use a bronzer that I haven't used in a very long time. This is my Fenty Cream Bronzer in the shade Butter Biscuit. And Bethany Hart asks, do you like animals? Do you wish you could have pets? I love animals. Randy loves animals. And yes, we absolutely wish we could have a pet. And, you know, we've talked about it, but obviously we're not going to have a pet as long as we live in this tiny place. But even with that being said, even, you know, if we move to a place with bigger, more space, I just don't know if we're going to get a pet because it's just such a big commitment and it's hard to have a pet in New York City. You know what I mean? It's hard to keep things clean. I cannot tell you how many times I see bedraggled, dirty, not taken care of dogs out and about, and it makes me so mad. I don't even want to talk about it, honestly, because it just really, really gets me. I'm like always that, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, but I'm always like that far away from turning around and just being like, you know what? You don't deserve to have a pet. You need to take care of your animal. Your animal is dirty. Their hair is matted, they look miserable, and you should be ashamed. Wow, who knew I could turn that into a rant, but I sure did. Pia asks, what's your favorite TV show right now? I'm watching Better Call Saul right now. I'm trying to catch up because I know the new season is out and I have a lot to catch up on because I think there are 5 seasons, right? Just gonna take my Kosas brow products and do my brows. I think Bob Odenkirk is a fucking revelation. I just think he's so incredible. If you have not seen the movie Nobody, run, do not walk. He's so great in that, and it's definitely like a very I would say a very unexpected turn for Bob Odenkirk. Has like a very John Wick feel to it. Another show that I'm making my way through is called The Principles of Pleasure. I think that's what it's called on Netflix. It's like a 4 or 5 part series. It's basically a documentary series about women's pleasure and how that works. Highly recommend both men and women watch it. I actually told Randy about it and he's like, yeah, I'd watch that. I'm learning things. You know what I mean? It's so well done. I know something like that sounds a little bit like, I don't want to sit down and watch that, or like you're in health class or sex ed or something. It doesn't feel like that at all. It's really hard to explain, but it just feels really light and interesting. It's really enjoyable. So check it out. I'm using my Kier Weiss Flush and Glow, which is just this beautiful, I mean, it looks like a hot mess here, but it really is just a beautiful springy flush of color. Low Papaya asks, do you love spicy food? Yes, I do. I like super spicy things almost to a point of being maybe unreasonably hot, but not like crossing over. I love spicy wings. Bursting with saliva. I love Thai food. I love Mexican food. I love hot sauces. Did you guys see the hot ones that I did with Michelle Wong? I will even take pickled jalapenos and just put it on everything. Does that mean that my taste buds are dying? Is that what that means? Chase Dean asks, what's your favorite time of day? I actually love this question because I do have a favorite time of day, and it is right before the sun sets. It's like the magic hour to me. Like the sky is gorgeous. The day isn't totally over, but the night has yet to begin. The world is your oyster. You make that cocktail, you feeling fresh. I just love, it's happy hour. Makes me sound like a straight up lush, but when it's true, it's true. Cess593 asks, favorite things to cook, favorite things that Randy cooks. So I do most of the cooking. Randy actually has like a job where he has to leave the house and do things. He's a professional server. So I definitely do most of the cooking. Most of the cooking I do is probably in the morning / afternoon, having like a brunch lunch situation. We do tend to order a lot at night. I do make dinner, I'd say probably like 3 nights a week, 4 nights a week. I'm not really able to chef it up, you know, like I would like to, because our kitchen is just very, very small. I wish I could make things with more like fresh vegetables and stuff, but I'm telling you what, like keeping that stuff around in a tiny kitchen with a you know, a smaller fridge, I've tried it and it's a disaster, and like everything goes bad. And I just feel like if I want a salad, if I want something like that, I order it, because there's so many amazing places to order from in New York City. And I've said this to so many of my friends recently. I feel like once I get all of the ingredients together to make what I'm gonna make, I could have just ordered it and had someone else make a delicious thing. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty much a wash. Did I even tell you what I'm drinking? I'm gulping a gin and tonic. Okay, now I'm going to go in with something that I actually don't think I've ever used before. I found it hiding in the back of my cream blushes and I was like, what the hell? Why haven't I used this beauty? This is the Danessa Myricks Color Fix Cream, and this is in the shade Ballerina. So Kelly Cam asks, what time do you wake up and what's the first thing you do and the second? Wow, that's specific. Well, I'm a night owl, you know, that has to do with a lot of things. One, spent my life in theater. So, you know, I perform at night. That's when I feel my most energetic. And so that just kind of, you know, conditioned me. And then on top of that, as I said, Randy is a server. So oftentimes he's working very, very late. And as you can see, we live in a junior 1-bedroom apartment. So, you know, I definitely like align my schedule with his as well. So we go to bed pretty late. I'm a person who needs a lot of sleep. I need like 9 to 10 hours. This shade is gorgeous. So I would say most days I wake up between noon and 1. Also, can we just normalize not waking up early? Like not everyone is on that schedule. I guess I just feel like there's a certain mentality, like if you're on a certain earlier schedule, like go to bed early, wake up early schedule in our culture, that I don't know, that's somehow better or makes you a better person. And I just don't really get that. Oh, also this is my Charlotte Tilbury Rock and Coal eyeliner in the shade Barbarella Brown. Alexandra KF asks, what is your favorite mental health practice? Well, I do go to therapy. I go to therapy right now twice a month. I also sometimes like to put on a meditation to listen to as I fall asleep. Guys, I love a hot shower. I know that sounds like a weird answer to this question, but I just feel like I'm in my happy place when I'm taking a hot shower. It's so transformative. I also like to do stretches under the hot water. It really, really helps to loosen things up. And I also like to do some deep breathing as well. Cate says, I think you said in the past you did people's makeup. Do you still do that as a side job? I do not. I basically became a freelance makeup artist right before I started my YouTube channel as a way to find a job I didn't hate. By that, I mean like a survival job, a job that actors have in the city so that they can pay their rent and their bills, and also audition and all that stuff. So yeah, it was actually my friend Carly, who is a freelance makeup artist in New York City. If you guys are looking for someone, if you're ever here and you need a makeup artist, I've got recommendations. I got you, okay? But yeah, my friend Carly actually was the one who inspired me to get into that. And I did makeup freelance for a couple of years. This is my Kier Weiss mascara, the Impossible Mascara. I don't love doing other people's makeup. I don't hate it. If I were to compare it to other survival jobs I had, it was pretty much the best one I ever had. Let me tell you, that is I mean, as you can imagine, that's a real customer service position, and you are in charge of how someone looks. I just have to say, I don't want to be in charge of that. I really, really don't. Some people were super cool and super chill, and they were like, this looks great. And then of course, you know, you have people who are more particular, and then you have people who have no concept of what's realistic for them. I just want to take this opportunity while we're on the topic to address this. One, please do not haggle with makeup artists and hairstylists about their rates. I experienced that myself, and I also hear about it from two of my very, very good friends who are freelance makeup artists, and it makes my blood boil. And two, please, if you can, tip your makeup artist. Lift Bake Love says, how do you deal with negative and hate comments? They make me want to quit the internet sometimes. You know, I don't get a lot of negative comments, if I'm being fair, but I would argue that all it really takes is one every once in a while to really piss you off. And in terms of how I deal with them, I mean, I think it depends on the situation and the day. Sometimes I respond and put them in their place, and then I block them. Sometimes I don't respond at all, and I just block and delete. And sometimes, if someone's shitty enough, I take to Instagram and I repost it as a way to say, hey, anyone out there who's thinking about doing this, don't. You know what actually makes me a little bit more upset than even the negative comments is when, like I said, occasionally I'll like repost on Instagram and I'll get a DM from someone that's actually like defending the shitty person. They're like, you shouldn't repost this. This isn't nice. And it's like, so you're defending this like actual monster, leaky trash bag troll person? That makes me feel like you relate to that behavior and you're somehow scared that I'm going to do the same thing to you. And my answer to that is, it's very simple. Just don't be an asshole. This is another thing that just fell to the wayside, and what a travesty, because look at her. This is the Tom Ford lip color sheer in the shade Paradiso. Oh, that is so gorgeous. So of course I'm going to put a gloss over this, but I'm going to amp up the blush first. So now I'm going to go in with the Vive Sunset Blush in the shade Sorbet, which is pretty much an exact match for my lip color as well. So Deb B asks, very simple question, love it, apples or oranges? Okay, so I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not a huge fruit person. I love vegetables and I definitely eat a lot of veggies, but I'm not really one to like keep fruit around and just like snack on it. But if I had to choose, I would choose an orange. They're just so juicy. I mean, how could you not? Apples, you know what? Unless you get a really, really good apple, like a Honeycrisp, they're often grainy. Not a fan. Okay, so I'm pulling out this MAC highlighter that I just got. I used it in my MAC video and I really loved it, but I felt like I didn't fully understand how gorgeous it was until I stopped filming, saw it the rest of the night on my face, and then I started my edit and I was like, holy hell, this highlighter is stunning. So this is the Extra Dimension Skin Finish, and this shade is called Show Gold. So we're gonna give her another go. Oh, so this is like a peachy highlighter with a pink reflect. I'm actually gonna go in with a little bit of setting spray and just re-wet my sponge again and really, really melt that highlighter into the skin. And I'm just taking that right up into my eyeshadow. I literally just reached in and pulled the nearest gloss that looked really pretty to me. This is the Fenty gloss in Champ Stamp Fantasy. That is the finished look. I think it's just what I wanted. A fresh, healthy spring look. Oh, there's also one last thing I wanted to mention to you guys. So I often have people ask, like, what's the best way to support people's channels? Well, YouTube has actually added a new little feature that is really cool. So if you look underneath this video, you'll see a bunch of symbols, and there's a heart with that says thanks, and that's actually a way to support your favorite creators. So you don't have to go to a live stream anymore and send a super chat. You can do this on any video. Just another lovely way to support people's content. So I just wanted to point that out. I will definitely be using that for my favorite creators. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you are enjoying my content, please give this a subscribe. Please give it a thumbs up. You guys are the best. Please stay safe out there, and cheers till next time. Bye. Literally nothing left.